one of the areas that we are focusing on at the Socrates Institute is the young man. We believe that we need to start young, to a very large extent, and they're the ones who are most hit. Those who, are older, from, the 90s all the way to, a bit about 2000s are still fairly okay. But we need to start targeting children that are born 2000 above, and this is the reason. For you to enjoy life, for you to be happy, the brain has to go through a certain developmental process, before what we refer to in psychology as, individuation, separating from the parent. Now, some of those processes could be, difficult. You go to boarding school, you learn how to begin to fend for yourself. You're challenged. In fact, in some cases, I'll allude to the African style. Sometimes you're spanked. Those things are not really happening. So there's a missing link, and that missing link is the total avoidance of pain. Complete, pretense that there's a world that exists that is painless. An example is that you want to write an essay and you don't even want to think about it. You just write me an essay and boom, ChatGPT, it's out. You have an assignment in calculus, ChatGPT is out. Yes, those things help speed up processing, decision making, but what it therefore means is that we need to revamp the entire educational system. So it's no longer about A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. It's now about understanding the psyche. A new type of education that speaks to the inner man. So even if you could not experience it, we have the opportunity of showing you, the dynamics of existential suffering. At least we can explain it to you so that you understand it. So we're coming up with the Socrates Youth Summer Camp in about 3 weeks. There'll be a summer camp in Abuja, a summer camp somewhere in Kano or Kaduna, another summer camp in Port Harcourt, another one in Lagos. We want to see how much we can capture, and we're trying to see how we can put almost 10,000 young people together. Those who cannot come physically can join online for us to have these discussions. Begin to really appreciate the philosophical understanding of love, philosophical foundations of sex, philosophical foundations of relationships, philosophical foundations of humanity. Because the point is being missed, really. Philosophical foundation, why you can see the incidence even of drugs, for example. In search for happiness, they are depending on different types of drugs. And once they begin to feel the effect, yes, there's a simulation of happiness, but they suffer ultimately. So, for me, it would have been better to take a whole semester, all right, to discuss these things than to do a whole semester on physics, thermodynamics, which you can pick up on YouTube easily and understand it. This is where we're going. So we're also going to involve seniors, leaders, even in Nigeria, for example, people who were around during the Civil War, past presidents, to be part of the conversation. We want to be able to bring people like Kagame, in Rwanda, to be part of the conversation even if it's for 2-3 minutes. You want to be able to speak to Obama, he's just come up with a world-class presidential center, which really is inspiring for humanity. And he put it right there in Chicago, and if you see what he's trying to do, again, it's aligned to what we're trying to do in Socrates, to bring back the humanity in us. Machines will help, but we need to say, okay, this is where it stops. At this point, let's humanize it. We still need to be human beings. That's dangerous. The way it is going now is dangerous because feelings are gone and emotions are not trained. The psyche is forgotten. This is Socrates Institute.